always said that Victor Hugo's novel is the greatest source material for any musical ever written.
It was back as far as 1978 that these were impulses into what became the musical Les Misérables.
I had just produced a revival of the original production of Oliver, and Alain came to see it, and it was as the Artful Dodger was singing Consider Yourself that suddenly Gavroche popped into his head.
I called Michel and I said, what do you think, Les Misérables, for our next musical? And he said, we start work tomorrow morning.
And they brought to my office the concept album that Alain and Claude Michel had recorded in France, and I was so excited.
Cameron told us, you don't realize what you have written. This may speak to the world.
And what I really wanted to do was rebuild it in a way that I would do a normal musical. And I wanted them to be part of that process.
He phoned me up one morning, January '85. He said, come and see me today, lunch at the Ivy. I said, this is big business.
I said, would you be interested in writing the lyrics for Les Misérables?
I went to work on March the 1st, '85. We went into rehearsal, I think, in August that year.
And the first preview we opened, the show ran just under 4 hours.
The following morning, the critics were terrible.
Some of them were really nasty.
And the rest was horrendous.
So I think, oh, I'll just bring up the box office just to find out the worst, so I'm at least can be honest with everybody. It took me about half an hour to get through. And I said, well, what's happening? He said, we've never had so many calls.
But the box office manager said there was a line stretching right around the block for about 100 yards.
It was like a torrent that happened that day. And within a few days, that run was sold out. After the 25th anniversary, which I did a great concert at the O2, I decided to celebrate 25 years of Les Misérables with a brand new production. And it's doing extraordinary business. I mean, I can confidently say it's likely to be there for at least another decade. The first time that I thought about putting Les Mis on the screen was back actually 25 years ago, shortly after the Broadway opening. So it really stayed dormant until about 3 or 4 years ago.
I was working with the writer William Nicholson on another project, and he said, oh, I've just been asked to adapt the musical Les Mis, and a light bulb went off in my head.
I know Cameron Mackintosh and Working Title and Universal waited for the right time, the right filmmaker to come along.
What have I done, sweet Jesus, what have I done? Become a thief in the night, become a dog on the run.
From the very, very beginning, what excited me about doing Les Misérables was doing it live.
Turn your heart into stone.
There's something about what an actor does live on the day that, whether you pre-record it or post-record it, is never quite the same.
This is all I have lived for. This is all I have known.
Tom realised that when an actor is singing live, they're actually emoting as they would on stage.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by.
And indeed, that for me was always the key.
Hope was high.
Worth
living.
Sometimes I feel like that night at Oliver, watching this musical, which I love, I mean, it makes me feel like, you never know, man. Did I receive a signal from someone? I don't really believe in any of that.
One day more, another day, another destiny.
We were just rehearsing the death of Jean Valjean with you, with Anna Tawai. And I said, but my God, I'm a simple kid coming from Hungarian immigration, born in the west of France. What I'm doing here with all those stars.
One day more to revolution.
The family of Les Misérables are its greatest strength. And I think I've come to realise their strength even more through Tom Hooper's eyes. And the way that he has actually led us all to reinvent this musical for the movies rather than try and put the stage show on the movie.